Hello, we are back again to continue learning elasticity of demand. This time the subtopic is types of price elasticity of demand. Types of price elasticity of demand. Like we said, the forms of elasticity comes in price elasticity, income elasticity, and cost elasticity. We are going to single out price elasticity of demand and explain its types. This time you will notice that we are going to apply elasticity in real life and put interpretation on the use of the figures we get when we calculate price elasticity of demand. I know that students normally complain that they get confused what they should say when they get the value, either to say elastic, fairly, inelastic, etc. All this we've all gone through before, but with practice and a number of exercises, we are now okay. So I want to believe that when you keep practicing, you will get there. You'll be able to do the interpretation. So on the board, I have types of price elasticity of demand, and we have 5 types, as I've put here. Fairly elastic demand. In fact, it should be fairly price elastic. And when you say fairly elastic, you are okay. Fairly price elastic demand. It is also sometimes called relatively elastic demand. Relatively elastic. Then we have number 2, fairly inelastic or relatively inelastic demand. Then we have unitary elastic demand. We have perfectly elastic demand. Then the last one is perfectly inelastic demand. When you look at the elastic, this is elastic, inelastic, fairly inelastic, unitary elastic. And then we have perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic. You can still note that there's a trend, except for number 3, which is slightly different. So when we say a commodity has fairly elastic demand, what does it mean? What is the meaning? It is very easy. Like I told you before, that when we talk of elastic material, yesterday I showed it to you. This is one elastic material, rubber band, very elastic. Can move up and down. Let your mind be on the quantity at this point. So when we say fairly elastic demand, it is when the percentage change in the quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. That's it. I'll go over it again. I say when you say fairly elastic demand, that is when the percentage change in the quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. Fairly inelastic demand, what about that one? It is when the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price. You see how it is? Right. I repeat. Fairly inelastic demand is when the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price. Number 3, unitary elastic. This is when the percentage change in quantity demanded is equal to the percentage change in price. That means that when price increases by 20%, the quantity demanded will also increase by 20%. So they are equal. Okay. What about perfectly elastic demand? What about that? In that case, there is an infinite or infinite, forever, a complete change in the quantity, but the price is fixed. So we say it is when at a fixed price an infinite number of quantity is purchased. Okay, we will get back to it. You are going to understand because I'm going to use illustration diagrams, etc. and you get to know. Then perfectly inelastic. In that case, it is when the price keeps changing but the quantity is fixed. I.e., at a fixed quantity, the price keeps changing. That is what we call perfectly inelastic demand. I'm going to go to the first one, take the number one, and throw more light on it, and I know you will understand it. You remember what I said, that it is the first one, number one, is when the percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. That is, if for instance, the percentage change in price is 10%, then the percentage change in quantity will be more than the 10, i.e. it can be 15, it can be 20, it can be 30, etc. It should be greater than the percentage change in price. Let's illustrate it. Look at this on the diagram. This is quantity and this is price. Then you have the diagram shown here. Let's put 20 here and put the quantity, let's say, is 15. And then the price drops to this point. Let's say it is 18. Then you trace to the quantity, the axis. You will notice that the gap between the price change is smaller, but the gap here is wider. And therefore, if I write 15 here, I am justified to put, say, 30 here. So, straight away, you will notice that the change in quantity here, change in quantity, in absolute term, is greater, is far, is large, bigger than that of the change in price. So, let's say that the direction is like this. The price decreased from 20 to 80, causing the quantity to increase from 15 to 30. You are asked to calculate the price elasticity of demand. Let's see if it will confirm that the percentage change in quantity demanded will be greater than the percentage change in price. Because we said that for fairly elastic demand, the percentage change in quantity demanded should be greater than the percentage change in price. If that happens, then the demand will be fairly elastic. Okay? Okay, so we are going to take the percentage change in quantity. How do we calculate it? I said that it will be new quantity minus old quantity divided by the old quantity times 100. That is how we calculate the percentage change. Let me use the board well. Alright. So this is the same as, I'm going to repeat this one here. 30 is the new quantity minus the old quantity, 15, divided by the old quantity is 15 times 100. That is the percentage change in quantity we are trying to calculate. We are moving on. This is the same as minus 15, am I right? Divided by 15 times 100. What is your final answer? The final answer is that when you cancel this and that, you have 100%. It's not minus. It's positive, right? It's not minus. Okay. So the answer, the percentage change in quantity is 100%. And we said that fairly elastic demand, the percentage change in quantity demanded should be greater than the percentage change in price. We've done the percentage change in price. So we want to look at the percentage change in price. What are we going to get? Let's go. It will be new price minus the old price divided by the old price times 100, which is the same as, what are we seeing here? 18 minus 20 divided by 20 times 100. That will give you minus 2 divided by 20 times 100. This 1, 10. 10 will go here 1, 10 will go here. How many? No, 10 will go to 10 times, 100 10 times. So that will give you minus 10%. So the percentage change in price is 10%. Compare, the percentage change in quantity demanded is 100%, while the percentage change in price is 10%. Automatically, this will lead to fairly elastic demand. That is what we said, that fairly elastic demand is when the percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. And it has reflected here. Are we okay? Very good. Now, the formula that we have for calculating price elasticity of demand is this. Price elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. And from what we have done, we can just put 100% from the percentage change in quantity demand, which is 100%, divided by the percentage change in price, which is 10%. That's what we got. Okay, so you cancel that. 10 here 1, 10 will go to this one, 10. So your final answer is 10, which is minus 10. So the price elasticity of demand, when you calculate this one, you are going to get 10. In fact, when you use the proportional formula, you are going to get 10. We have used percentage formula, we are getting 10. Now I am going back to the fairly elastic demand and show you something. We said that fairly elastic demand is when the percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. Then I put into bracket ED greater than 1. ED greater than 1. What does this mean? This means that the elasticity of demand you are going to get should be greater than 1. If you are calculating fairly elastic demand, the answer you will get, it should be greater than 1. Note that in calculating price elasticity of demand, you are always going to get negative. So if negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 10. So we say ignore the negative sign. We are interested in the absolute value. Here is negative 10, but ignore the minus sign and assume that the answer is 10, and 10 is greater than 1. When your final answer in calculating price elasticity is greater than 1, it means that the demand facing the commodity is fairly elastic. I'm going over it again. I'm saying that when you calculate price elasticity of demand and your final answer is greater than 1, ignore the negative side. That means that don't take into consideration the negative sign. It is not what we are interested in. Just take the absolute value. For instance, when we got the final answer here, we had 10 and negative 10. But I say ignore it. Ignore the negative and put 10. Your answer is 10. 10 is greater than 1. And once your answer is greater than 1, the interpretation you should put on the demand for that particular commodity is fairly elastic. So all the time, let that guide you. So two things can guide you. One, when you realize that the percentage change in the quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in the price, you know that your demand is fairly elastic. When you calculate your price elasticity of demand and your final answer is greater than 1, your interpretation is that the demand facing that commodity is fairly elastic. Fairly elastic. That's it. You will notice that the formula for calculating price elasticity of demand, this is the formula. Anytime this is the numerator. That is, those of you understand numerator, and this is the denominator. Once the numerator is greater than the denominator, your final answer is always going to be greater than 1. Once your numerator is greater than the denominator, i.e. the one on top is greater than the one down here, your final answer is always going to be greater than 1. For instance, if the whole top was 100, the down was 10, your final answer is 10, so it's greater than 1. If the whole top is 4 and the down is 2, this is greater than this, so your final answer is going to be greater than 1. The final answer truly is 2. You see it? So anytime the numerator, which is always percentage change in quantity demand, is greater than the denominator, which is always the percentage change in price, your answer is going to be greater than 1. The interpretation you put on it is that the demand is fairly elastic. Good. So that is about fairly elastic. Now let's go to fairly inelastic. Fairly inelastic. Elasticity of demand, it should be appreciated that there are a lot of things that can be explained. But because we are talking about a class that is sort of loaded, you can't say everything. Even the diagram, when you draw it, it speaks. And I can explain the diagram, the curvature, the nature of the diagram, and why it is elastic or inelastic. But that will be saved for another time, I believe so. So let's say this is the demand curve, and you have this. Let me write 10 here, and this is 12, and this is 10, and this is 5. Notice that price has dropped, and the quantity has increased. Clearly, you see the diagram after all this, you see that the gap between the quantities, this gap, is smaller compared to the gap between the price. The price dropped so much, but the quantity increased just by a little margin. And earlier on, I told you that fairly inelastic is when the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price. Please, it's not absolute change. Don't look at the change here and say it's 2, this is 2, and this is 5. So you conclude no. Calculate percentage or calculate proportion. Okay? Alright. So we are here now. We are saying that when the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price, you will get fairly inelastic. And we are going to prove it. Let's calculate it. Let's find the percentage change in the quantity demanded and see what will happen here. How do we get it? So percentage change in quantity demanded. This is the new quantity, so it will be 12 minus 10 divided by the whole, which is 10 times 100. We are no longer going to write the formula because we are aware of it. So this will give us 2 out of 10 times 100. What are we going to get? 5. 5 into 20. So the answer is what? 20%. So the percentage change in the quantity is 20%. Let's find the percentage change in price and compare the two. So percentage change in the price will be equal to the new price is 5 minus 10 divided by 10 times 100. What do you get? It will be minus 5 over 10 times 100. That's not it. So 1 and 2. 2 go into this one. How many? 50. 50%. Then it's minus 50%. But let's ignore the minus. You will notice that the percentage change in the, we say that in elasticity we ignore the minus signs, etc. Okay, so you see that the percentage change in the quantity is 20%, while the percentage change in the price is 50%. Automatically, we said that is leading to fairly inelastic demand. And let's find the value and see what happens. So price elasticity of demand, in the case of this one, will be equal to the change in percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in the price. In this case, we have 20% divided by 50%. Cancel out. Cancel out. It will give us 0.4, right? 0.4. It will be minus, but I say ignore it. Ignore the minus sign. So 0.4 is the answer. Now let's come here. Fairly elastic. I put something in the bracket. I say that is when the elasticity of demand, the elasticity of demand in the case of what is calculated is 0.4. Should be less than 1. And it's true, 0.4 is less than 1. So when you calculate price elasticity of demand and your answer is less than 1, the interpretation you put on it is that the demand facing that commodity is fairly inelastic. Fairly inelastic. Our answer truly, which this ED, that elasticity of demand, what is it? Is 0.4. And it's less than 1. That's the interpretation you put on it. Okay? Good. Now we are going to do unitary elastic. Remember that with all this that we are doing, we are just using the percentage formula. You can equally use the proportional or proportionate formula and you will get the same result. You get the same result. So unitary elastic. Unitary elastic we said when the percentage change in quantity demanded is equal to the percentage change in price. So we have this, for instance. So let's say this demand curve. This is 10 and it moves to 15. And this is also 10 and it moves to 5. Let me see. Let's make it 8 to 10. Yes, 8 to 10. And this one is 8 to 6. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So we use, for the sake of explanation, understanding, we are going to use what we call the proportional formula and see what happens here. The proportional formula is price elasticity of demand should be equal to change in quantity divided by change in price times original price divided by original quantity. So what do we get here? Change in quantity will be 10 minus 8 divided by change in price. And change in price is going to give us 6 minus 8 times original price. The original price is what? 8 divided by original quantity, which is also 8. So 8. That's 8 here, 8 here, original. You will notice that this minus this will give us 2. Is that not it? And this minus that will give us minus 2 times 8 over 8. Okay? Very good. So this cancel out. This cancel this. The final answer is 1. Minus 1, but 1. I told you, absolute test. Now let's come here. Unitary elastic. I said the elasticity of demand you are going to get should be equal to 1. And what are we having here? The answer is 1. When you use the percentage formula, you are going to get the same thing. I.e., when you calculate the percentage change here, the answer you will get, if it is 20%, when you calculate the percentage change here, you are also going to get 20%. So 20% over 20% will give you the 1. That is how it is. Okay. Then we move to the next one, perfectly elastic. That one, we said that we have the elasticity of demand. The answer you are going to get when you calculate it, you are going to get an answer that is undefined. This is undefined. That is infinity. Undefined. So let's see if truly we are going to get undefined. See, it is when at a fixed price an infinite quantity is demanded. So you look at this one, quantity demanded, and this is price. So the price is fixed. Let's say it's 10. This is the demand curve. And the quantity is just whatever, 8, and say 15. That is the definition I gave from the beginning. At a fixed price, an infinite quantity. So if you want to buy 8, it's the same price. 15 the same price. 100 the same price. So let's calculate the price elasticity of demand. We are using the point formula. You can use the percentage, but we are using the point so that we will have varying formula. That is why I'm doing that. So we have price elasticity of demand being equal to change in quantity divided by change in price times original price over original quantity. So let's place in the figures. Let's say the quantity moved that way. We are going to have 15 minus 8 divided by change in price. The change in price is 10, but it doesn't change. Price is not changing. So you will notice that it will be 10 minus 10, the same thing, times 10 divided by 8. Because this is the original price, this is the original quantity. So what do we get from here? We are going to get 7, which is minus 7. No, it's 7. 7 out of 0 times 10 over 8. When you multiply this by that, you are going to get 70. Multiply 0 by 8, you are going to get 0. 70 divided by 0 will give you math error when you put it on your calculator. The calculator will tell you math error. That means the answer doesn't exist. And so we represent it by this sign. 8 that is sort of sleeping. We call it undefined or infinity. That is it. So when you calculate price elasticity of demand and you can't get an answer, the answer is undefined, we say the demand is perfectly elastic. That means that your price is fixed. Any quantity at all will be bought. Okay. Then the last one is what we call perfectly inelastic demand. And we said that in that case, when you increase the price, reduce the price, whatever you do to the price, the quantity that is being bought will be fixed. It will not change. And it normally applies to commodities that are necessities. You can't do without them. So irrespective of the price, you buy the same quantity. Let's see how that one also pans out. So we have this. It comes that way. Let's say this is 15 and it's fixed. And whatever the quantity, let's say 20 and 25, this is demand. We are calculating the price elasticity of demand. The same formula. Change in quantity demanded divided by change in price times original price over the original quantity. So let's go. The change in quantity is 15 minus 15. It's not changing, so it's the same. The change will be 0. Is there any change here? There's no change. The change is 0. So 15 minus 15. That's how we do it. And then let's say the price rather reduced. It will be 20 minus 25. So 25 divided by 15. What you are going to get from this is that this one will be 0 divided by What?
Negative 17. Negative 13, sorry.
Negative 13.
Yeah.
Yes, negative 13. Yes, correct. Times 25 over 15. So we get rid of the multiplication of 13 by 15. 13 by 15. So what are we going to get from here? You have 0. 0 multiplied 25 will give you 0. Alright?
13 by 15 is 195.
195. So you will see that your final answer will be 0. 0 divided by any figure is 0. What do we have here? When you calculate price elasticity of demand and your answer, that is elasticity of demand, is equal to 0, it means that the demand facing the commodity is perfectly elastic. How? It means that quantity can change. Price can change, but quantity will not change. That means perfectly static. It will not change. Quantity will not change. No matter what happens to price. Here, the price is rather fixed. Quantity is forever changing in perfectly elastic time. Here, the change in the quantity, the ratio, the proportion, or the percentage change in the price is the same as the percentage change in price. So if it's 10, it's 10 for both price and quantity. The change here for inelastic is such that the price percentage change is always greater than the quantity percentage change. And the first one, which is the fairly elastic, in that case, the price percentage change is always going to be less than the quantity percentage change. These are the interpretations. When we come to solving our question, then you really see the application. On this note, this session will also end, and I'm hoping to come your way again shortly to continue with this particular elasticity topic. Stay blessed.